town too, and I actually grew up on a farm, so I'm really familiar with country life, and I was really disturbed to hear this morning on John Fane's program a farm insurer talking about a bigger portion of the country no longer being farmable because insurance isn't going to be available. So I understand we're here to share the successes, but I know that you'll also all be keeping in the backs of your minds actually what the reality is. So my story today is not about my work, it's about my volunteerism in my local community, and that little community is called Newstead. Now we're lucky enough to be within that magical 1.5 hours of Melbourne. So that's a help, but not necessarily, particularly for this program, because when I think about all your communities, you know the thing that you have in lots of is sun. Now our project is about energy. We started, like many small communities do, getting together and thinking about how we can make our towns better places to live. That's what we wanted to do where I come from. And we thought about, we just got people to picture how it would look in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, and what things they would add or what they'd like to see, or the sorts of issues that they'd like to address. And I think this was in 2008, so this project that we've been working on has been going for a very long time. I must remember to change the slides. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about Newstead. Hands up who's been there? Quite a few people. Okay. So we're like all York towns, we're small. We've got 2 pubs, all those things there. It's looking particularly dry there, isn't it? We're 15 minutes from Castlemaine, and so that's only 15 minutes to catch the train to Melbourne, so we're very fortunate in that way. A lot of people, though, we don't have a big population. You can see there that in the immediate township we've only got 572. We've only got 315 private dwellings. Around the area there's quite a bit of bush, and a lot of people do come for weekenders, or they bring their children. We're lucky, they come to the area, I think, Kerry, to educate their kids there. They want to get out of the city, and there are good schools in the area. You can see that we've got half the population employed full-time, 41% part-time. We've got a lot of people working from home. It can be a particularly isolating experience. We have a lot of people who don't have internet at home. We have a lot of older people. Okay, so we held this summit, as many of you will have in your small towns, back in 2008. And we did all of the sorts of things that small towns do when they have these summits. And we formed a group, what was yours called there? Witchy Group?
Witchy Group Vision.
Witchy Group, yeah. So we did that, and we called ours Newstead 2021, because we were visioning what we wanted the place to look like in the year 2021, which is coming very quickly. So people, out of that, lots of ideas came up, and people just set off and did them. Now this is the key thing, and I think Kerry might have mentioned this. What I would reiterate, there were so many fabulous things that you said, Kerry, but what I would reiterate is, it's your business. Your community is your business. No one else is going to do this work for you. And I don't care what age you are, you have capacity. Turn up. Okay, so we did all these different things. We had some people went and got the playground sorted. The kids said they wanted a playground and they wanted a wooden ship, sailing ship in the playground, and the department of something or other came back and said, no, you can't have a wooden ship, you have to have a plastic ship. And the parents and the people working on this project said, we can't do it. This is what the kids asked for. This is a matter of trust. So they persisted. We started a series of community conversations at the time. We got a transport group established and did little things like that. We have since built a new recreation reserve. We developed a community plan, and probably you've all done that in your towns, I think, because municipalities did that as a matter of course. So, anyway, our organisation, the important thing here was we formed this organisation. And we set a very deliberate purpose, and this was our intention. That's what it does. And it acts as a kind of auspicing organisation. And the thing about our organisation is everyone's really busy. You're really busy in your lives. We don't have regular meetings. We only have them when we need to have them. Don't get all formal about stuff. Make stuff work for you. And we set about, we decided we wanted to work together to problem solve things, because actually there's quite a few people in the town who like each other and like working together, and there's a lot of people with different skills, so that's really important. That's an aerial, that's a terrible slide, I'll move on that one. Where's my man? Let me see if I can go back. There we go. We'll forget the slides. I'll just have to do this off the top of my head. So anyway, the key project that we decided to work on was energy. And a lot of people at that time, this was some years ago, it was coming out of 2009, and the debate about climate change was still very controversial. Now, I am a firm believer that we have to do something. And I think that generally the situation is changing now, and a lot of people are coming to understand that the future of our planet concerns us and we have to do something about it. At that time though, not everyone believed that. And in fact, we have a man who lives in the main street of our community who dug the exploratory holes for the Hazelwood coal power station. And so he firmly was not going to back any project to do with renewable energy, which our project is. Now, I was a fervent supporter of doing something, of making our purpose to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I was really keen on that. That's what I really wanted to do. But a lot of people in our community didn't give two hoots about that. So we surveyed people about what was of interest to them. And what was of interest to them was actually to reduce their power bills. And this was quite a long time ago. You will have seen trends now, you will all have seen your bills go up quite a bit. It's extraordinary. And yet, you've got that up there. How many of you have got solar panels on your house? Quite a lot of you. And can someone just inform me as to whether there's a major solar farm in the immediate vicinity of Kikuna?
Yes, what do you think?
Right. So do you know if you get most of your power from there? I'm just asking if people get most of their power. It's very difficult to know actually. But what I'm saying is, we used our project as a tool. So I was talking about some of us wanting to do something about climate change. Some of us saying no, like the man who lived in the main street. I knew that if I persisted with my argument, I was going to leave a lot of people behind, and it would split the community, and the last thing you can have is a split community. So we said, let's go for the thing that unites us all. Everyone wants to work together on price. Everyone wanted to work together on a project that would bring the community together. So we did that. Where am I going now? I think we'll go way, way back, if we can. And just two forward. I'll get one for that one. So where was I? So we decided that energy was going to be our project. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of people who can afford to put solar panels on their house. There's a lot of people who can't afford to put solar panels on their house. We have a lot of old people in the community. I've been in and sat with people in their houses, and I know that people turn off their power because they can't face the bill. And this was even some years ago. We have a lot of people in our town reliant on wood and also on bottled gas. We don't have natural gas. So we set out on this project. Now, a lot of these slides are actually pretty boring for you because if you tackle a project in the energy industry, it's quite complex, as Tom will know. But what we wanted to do was to power our own town. We wanted to reduce energy prices at the same time. And we wanted to make sure that everyone benefited. Now, if I put a solar panel on my house, good for me, I can afford it, great. But if you have, I guess there's some similarity, although I'm reluctant to draw the parallel with the water industry. If you have a grid, some people put solar panels on, somebody else in the system is going to pay for them. People will tell you something else, but that is true. And the other thing is, if we get to the stage where people choose to drop out and they put on batteries, etc., who's left to pay? The people who can't afford it. We didn't want that for our community. We wanted to care for people because it's really important. The only people who are going to care for us are ourselves. So that's why we set out on this project, and that's why we made those things as our goals. So what we've come up with now, so we've got, we had to work out how we could get that price down. And I'll just go back a few steps. We also needed money to do this. So we developed our plan and we wrote that very clearly for ourselves. And then before the state election, so there's an election coming up, it's a really good time for you to get out there knocking on Polly's doors right now. We went and knocked on politicians' doors from every party, the Nationals, the Liberals, Labor, etc. And we said, here's our plan. And the day after they were elected, Lily D'Ambrosio rang us up. She gave us a good hearing, as did the Liberal people. She rang us up. She was very deliberate and very intentional. And she said, you're on. And she came up, she gave us $200,000. So what we've done over 3 years, what does that mean? 5 months. So what, she gave us $200,000 to investigate this model. Now you're all sitting there saying, that is a waste of bloody time. We said, if you give us that money, we'll come up with a model that's replicable that other towns can use. So I would encourage you to tune in. We've just about finalised that model. We employed somebody who we cultivated a relationship many years ago when we first started thinking about energy with a person who worked in Cyro on energy. And in fact, he moved his family to Castlemaine. He's been brilliant. That was really important. I do some work in the community, some paid work, some of it's still voluntary. What we've spent that money on is coming up with this model. Now we had to work out a way to reduce the price, so we went to power call. So So people know that energy is transmission, or generation, so traditionally it came from coal power stations. And then we have those really big towers, transmission towers. And then you have distribution, which is the poles and wires going through your towns and along the roads. And then you have the retailer who sends you your bill. How could we get all those bits, get the price down there? So transmission, local. Make the source local. Distribution, that's powerful. You probably you may not know about power until your line breaks down or something. So we needed to get them on site. We got them to sign a memorandum of understanding to work with us. I don't think they even knew what they were signing, really. But they came up, and once that happened, we had to go and talk to them. We had so many meetings. Look, it's really difficult for corporates to believe that small communities can do this stuff. You have to demonstrate your willingness and show them by being there and being there and being there. It took a lot of hours. So eventually we said to them, okay, we want to know how much you generate and how much it costs you to deliver power here, to distribute power around here. They gave us a price. And we worked out, we negotiated, again with the help of our really wise consultant, so that now, under our new model, everyone pays $1 a day, will pay, once this comes in, $1 a day and no volumetric charge. Only a certain percentage for the highest half hour of your use. So what that will mean is if you keep your peak use down, it's different to the peak use of everybody else, then your bill will come down. We think we can we can reduce people's bills by at least 10% and by up to 30% using this model. Now we're just about to finish the whole, deliver the report to the government. If there are communities who want a project around energy, who want to educate themselves around energy, this is something to watch out for. We think it has potential, although the ACCC report this week might throw everything amok, but we think it has potential for small towns to generate their own energy and to reduce their prices. So I'd urge you, I'm sorry about those slides, they're a bit too complex. I'd urge you just to keep a watch out. And I'm available to talk about this at lunchtime. Am I nearly done here? Yeah. But I would say to you, you have an abundant resource here. And if you want a project to bring people together, and we've got smart people, and we've got people with a little bit of time, go for it. It's such a great thing. The energy industry is very complex, but we've convinced some sectors that we're not mums out here. And I actually think that country communities have a lot of potential to take this on. And in fact, all around Australia, communities are. Some are saying, we'll do the retailing, we'll do all that. We said, I don't want to sit there being an electricity retailer and doing all that stuff. So we've worked our model so that we're going to get a partner in supplying the services, building the solar farm. What our model is a partnership with an investor who's also the retailer, and you will have heard the ACCC say this week, we don't want the generators to be the same as the retailers, because really they've got Chinese walls in their companies. But the way we can see the price certainty, given the uncertainty in the industry, it's very hard to get anyone to invest. I hope this is making sense to you. But to get that price certainty, we said, well, if we've got the person who's going to build the farm and the person who's going to retail the energy, they know their price. We take in transmission, although we'd still have to pay for some of that, and we've locked in the distribution price, so we know what the cost is. So then companies can start to put in some certainty, and then they have more confidence to invest. So that's our project. If anyone wants to know more about it, just let me know. And thank you again for having me. And I would also like to particularly acknowledge Anne. You've done such a great job at Witchy Proof. It's a really magnificent thing you've done there, and Tom as well, and Kerry in your work. So thank you for having me. I hope you've learned something. If you want to do a project around energy, go for it.